Day for U of L basketball.
It's finally over. There's been a cloud over this program for over 5 years now.
How Louisville escaped major penalties in a scandal that brought down a coach and athletics director.
This significantly impacted this program. For our university, the Louisville community, and our loyal and passionate fans, today marks the beginning of a new chapter.
U of L ready to finally move forward 5 years after an FBI investigation into a pay-for-play scandal.
No doubt about it, the NCAA's announcement today was good for the Cards. No postseason bans, no major penalties. Tom Lane breaks down the big decision. Tom?
U of L Director of Athletics Josh Hurd said he was hoping for a good outcome, but was also bracing for a worst-case scenario. Today's decision, pretty much a best case. 2 years probation, a $5,000 fine, and some minor recruiting restrictions. But he also reminded us that the major damage was done by the length of time it took to get some kind of resolution.
As positive of a day as this is, we can't forget the last 5 years and what it's done to this program, the millions of dollars that this program has spent, the millions of dollars that this program has lost, the opportunity for student athletes to compete at the highest level, which is the expectation when they come to the University of Louisville. Yeah, it's been a big impact. I don't think anybody can undersell how much of an impact it's been. And it's not going to go away today, right? We're going to have to build this program back up, but today's a step in the right direction to do that.
How did the IARP eventually come to the conclusions they did? John Lewis takes us through that part of the story.
The panel did not find any violations whatsoever applicable to former head coach number 1 or former head coach number 2.
With that, former U of L head coaches Chris Mack and Rick Pitino off the hook, courtesy of the Independent Accountability Resolution process. Mack's allegations were minor, sending out improper recruiting materials and using unauthorized personnel in scrimmages. Allegations against Pitino and his former staff much larger, including a $100,000 payment to recruit Brian Bowen through Adidas. The panel ruled that Adidas acted in its own interests and that U of L never asked for the help in recruiting Bowen to the Cardinals.
It was our interpretation that they were primarily motivated by brand promotion, and they were trying to take steps to promote their brand.
The panel also ruled that Pitino, despite allegations from the NCAA, did enforce a climate of compliance, especially because the program was already on probation from the fallout of the Katina Powell stripper scandal, which cost the school the 2013 NCAA title.
The panel felt that the institution and the coach were hypersensitive to compliance issues coming right on the heels of the prior case.
After 5 years of this process, the final assessment for U of L: 2 years probation, a $5,000 fine, and some minor recruiting restrictions. The panel's decision is final, and no appeals can be made following Thursday's decision. John Lewis, WDRB Sports.
Rick Bozich joining me now. Rick, you and Eric Crawford have written about and discussed the fact that you didn't think the penalties would be very severe. Were you surprised at all by how benign they actually were?
Yeah, mostly. I mean, we had seen there have been 2 previous cases adjudicated by the IARP. Both included $5,000 fines and no NCAA restriction from the tournament. But, you know, I thought they would at least lose some scholarships, but IARP looks at this differently than the NCAA Infractions Committee, and I think they decided that what Louisville did wasn't that significant.
The IARP is going away after a few more cases get finished up. Do you think this and other recent IARP decisions signal a permanent change to how the NCAA adjudicates?
Sure, Tom. I think when you look in the entire atmosphere of college athletics now, which we now have NIL and play for, you know,
Yeah.
players can be paid to play. We're in a situation where the rules that were enforced in 2017 are not the same as the rules we have today. And that's what I think today's ruling really drives home.
You remember Rick Pitino, right?
Yeah, I remember Rick Pitino. He was exonerated. You look at, you know, Arizona and Kansas and some of these other places where the coaches stayed on for a long time. In retrospect, you can look back at it and say Rick Pitino probably should have been kept here.
Yeah, really no major penalties for Pitino, and he responded today.
Louisville's behind me. I wished him nothing but the best. Kenny Payne is a friend. I want to see him have great success. But understand this. We have our 10th anniversary coming up of our national championship team in 2013. You don't take championships away. You can't rewrite history.
Could there be anything to that? Could that 2013 banner go back up?
I don't think so. I mean, that's been settled now for what, 5 years? I think it was 2018 when it came down, 4 years. That wasn't part of this case. That wasn't determined by the same body of the NCAA. I'm sure that Josh Hurd made the statement today. You heard him say that any path they had to pursue that, but two different things.
Yeah, I guess time will tell. We will hear a lot more from the former coach, Rick Pitino, coming up at 5 o'clock. For Rick Bozich, I'm Tom Lane for WDRB Sports.